Oh, look at my drop.
On the ones and twos. Norman over there.
Yeah, look at that.
Spinning that.
We got DJ Normie Norm here.
I gotta hit this over here.
He talking about that Lulu.
There you go. Now you're in charge.
Now I'm in charge. Yeah, right. That's not true. That never works. All right. Who's got something good to share?
Tell us something good.
Not a closing, good one. Having a closing at 1. So let's get this one. Yeah.
Oh, that's why she's pushing it. She's like, come on, guys. I got to get out here and get my check. I know, right? I got you. All right. Well, let's roll through. All right. Who else got something good? Good morning, Lupita.
Hello.
Hey, something. It's working.
Oh, I listed 4 homes in 7 days.
4 homes in 7 days. What'd you do the other 3 days?
Doing some work.
I was marketing.
Oh, marketing them. Smart answer. Okay. All right. It's not a burr yet, so you're still rolling. Not a burr. She's still working, guys. Don't worry. All's well in the world. Who's got something good? Working on a listing. All right. First listing. All right. Where is it going to be? Aliana. Price point? Know yet? Don't know yet? All right. Okay. 500 is a good deal.
All right, so if y'all have some buyers looking in the Aliana area for about 500 and something thousand, we got a hot new listing coming up.
Look at that intro. Can't beat that. All right. Anybody else? Something good.
I got my first listing and my first offer. So I'm
First
waiting.
listing and first offer. Congratulations, Karen Jackson. Karen Jackson. Awesome. Congrats. Anybody else?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Lupita. What's going on?
I have a listing coming soon. It's in Rivers Run,
Okay.
2,600 square feet for 360,000.
All right. All right. Good luck on that. Let's get it sold.
Y'all don't have any personal things?
All right. Oh,
My
no.
credit score went up 40 points.
Woohoo! We love that. We love that.
620 now. She can rent.
So
All
let
right.
me know if you want to sell and buy a house. I got you covered. All right.
Baby, I'm taking applications for a real estate agent.
Absolutely.
There you go. Good advice. All right, Tenzesta, what do we got?
So I just came back from a fabulous girls' trip to Cabo.
Okay, stop there.
Yes.
Stop there. Okay. That's not, we said something good to share for us, not for, not just.
Oh,
kidding.
it's on Facebook.
Oh, touche. Awesome. Good time? You had a good time in Cabo? Got some R&R in there? Awesome. Awesome to hear.
Not that y'all care, but my kiddos are back. Loving that.
Are we clapping to that or just checking? Oh, all right, just checking. Just checking.
Lucky that's not mommy.
Yeah. All right, anyone else? Going once, going twice. All right, let's keep rolling. All right, few things coming out, right? Do not forget Mega Camp. We've had, now we're starting to pick up those, what would you call them? Not reservations, registrations. There we go. Plenty of activity coming in with agents coming in person. Again, highly recommended. It's especially at this point in the market, it'll be a lot of value, great networking opportunities. Okay. What we haven't seen a lot of activity on, if you're not going to be able to attend in person, is the digital registration. Okay. So I highly want to stress that if you're not going to be able to make it to Austin on August 22nd through 24th, you have the digital option. You will have all the content streamed live. And if you don't realize this, you're going to have access to those streams for the next 3 or 4 months following that. So even if you can't catch them live, you can always log in and partake in those at a later date. Okay, you're only going to have access to those if you have the login credentials, which comes with registration. All right, highly recommended.
And I heard that even when you're in person, you still also get the digital version, right?
You
so you don't have to
absolutely
take
do.
copious notes.
You absolutely do. Okay, and then the next slide has the QR code actually to take you to the Mega Camp page. If you have any, you want to just take a look at it, research, and then also the registration is there. Okay. Again, events.kw.com you can go to also see the information. This is where this points you to. You can always reach out to one of us for more info. Okay, or especially if you want to talk to on, about the value that it provides. Where did that guy disappear?
If you just go to Mega Camp, it comes right up.
Yeah, if you even just Google KW Mega Camp, the page is going to come up. It's at events.kw.com. We might have it on. Oh, and wait, it's pinned on the Facebook group. All right. Just a reminder for the class I'm doing this week, Command the Shift. Okay. It's about gearing your business and taking, for the shift and how to incorporate and leverage our technology doing so. Okay. So I highly recommend it. It's tomorrow at 1:30. Just a reminder again, right before that, because there's no slide, Nikki's doing a powerful negotiations workshop class. All right. So they're going to be back to back. All right. We're going to go straight from the negotiations class from 11:30 to 1:30 straight into this class. I believe we have a partner that's providing some belly fills.
And
okay?
since they
Trek you
try to
through all
one
of it.
up me, I have a class too on shift. No, it's happening on Friday. So if you don't understand what shift is all about, we're talking about tough tactics to tackle tough times, right? And so we'll be breaking down the tactics that are helpful and instrumental for you as a realtor to handle these tough times.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that, yes, pretty much every team meeting right now, we're talking about how to handle, how to adjust your business and et cetera. But there's only so much we can cover in a 30-minute span, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just scratching the surface. When you start coming into these things, it gets a lot more detail oriented, right? Awesome. Okay, cool.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are these classes also a Zoom class?
Great question, Lupita. So both of these are pretty much hands-on workshops, so they are in the training room only,
Okay,
okay?
great.
You
Thanks.
can't make it Thursday, just look out on the calendar for them repeating.
However,
Okay.
the class on Friday will be on Zoom as well.
Here we go. Okay,
Thanks.
Thursdays are in person only, Fridays is on Zoom. Cool? All right, and again, we have one more session of Homeward. You want to take their partner in our office, right? So you want to take their introductory session so they can show you how to utilize it for any of your clients that could utilize their advantage, okay? So next Wednesday after team meeting at 12:30 is their next session. It's going to be here in the training room and on Zoom at the same time, okay? So if you have not taken this yet, I highly recommend you do so. We have a couple of agents that have been able to utilize this, all right? So for, because of their particular situation with their clients, all right? So just a reminder again, next Wednesday. All right,
All right.
we're done. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Click. You don't want to click.
Oh,
Mhm. All right, so of course we have our BDL moment, but before we get to this, I guess I'll just get to this first. For our BDL, so let's get Brandon, let's get Ty up here, and let's get him up here. Okay, so we have something coming up. We've been talking about BDLs, build your brand lessons, right? BBLs, which require you to, yes, lift your butt and get to work, right? So this is us utilizing an event to help to build your business, encourage community awareness of who you are, and get your heart pumping, right? So what's that? Oh no, what happens? And these are our ambassadors. Y'all can introduce yourself. It didn't go. How do we press that? Can we press that?
Hi, I'm Tara.
And
I'm Brandon.
who's the brains behind all of this? So in essence, what we're doing is we're modeling what you can do, and we're inviting 10 agents to participate in this event. Those 10 agents will invite 10 of their sphere family members, somebody you want to reward, to come join us for a live IG cycling event that's happening in the Cycle Bar in Riverstone. This is to boost what's happening in your social media. It's also to encourage community awareness and involvement, and to help you come across as, oh yeah, see the people, as market experts as well. So we have a poll. That's how we're starting this. So for everybody who answers the question for the poll, you get thrown into this so that you can be part of this event. All of it is pretty much paid for. Your cycling, your gear for the cycling, we'll have some mimosas for after the cycling, and some of our partners. So we'll tell you a little bit more as the weeks continue to go. It happens on September 13th. It's in the morning, so you're getting sweaty early, then go home, take a bath, please, and then come back. What else am I missing?
At 9 o'clock.
Starts at 9 o'clock. you have to be willing to put this on Instagram Live. Okay, so we'll teach y'all how to do that. Okay, here's the poll. So in our Keller Williams site on our Instagram, should be on there now, there is a question. Hint, you'll get the answers in my next little lesson, but you need to answer 3, like you need to give us what are the 3 things for it. So let me show the rest of this. Y'all, thank y'all so much. If y'all have any questions, y'all can talk to our ambassadors. They'll be helping with all of that as well. Okay, BBL moment. All right, finding content. We're talking about shift, right? And the thing about shift is your expertise is what's really going to matter, your skill set. Gone are the days where it's just about, getting people through this door, getting them going. You actually need to know what you're doing. So how do you stand out as the realtor of choice? How do you represent yourself as the authority? Well, first, we know we're using social media a lot, right? So this is specific to social media. And one of the biggest complaints is finding content. Here's a tip: create as many templates and framework as you can. I remember when I first got to Keller Williams Southwest, Sharon told me, hey, document your process and create as many templates as you can. It's the same, you remember that? It's the same process for social media. So you're not an influencer, right? But you can be influencing. You are a realtor getting paid for influencing others to come into you. So how do you make sure your likes, your comments, your followers translates into dollar bills, y'all? Because that's what we're here for, right? All right, then have content pillars that revolve around your content strategy and around these pillars, right? And there's 3 categories. There's educational, there's inspirational, and there's promotional. So I'm gonna hit today real quickly on educational. On the educational, these are the 3 areas that you can do. You can call out mistakes, either that you see your audience is making or other realtors. I mean, I get it. Don't throw too much shade, but other realtors may be making, right? So calling out mistakes. The second thing is myths and misconceptions. So that exist within our industry. Tell people about them. Okay, so this is an educational thing that will help promote you as the authority, right, in real estate. And then finally, give tips, tricks, and how-tos. What I'm currently doing right now could have been captured on video and then repost it out as a tip, trick, or a how-to. Y'all good? That's your BBL. Lift your booty.
Thank you.
I like big. No, okay.
On that note, she's saying you have too much.
I have too much? Hey, I've been squatting. I need that to be there.
Squats and cycling. You see where we're going today?
Yes.
All right.
Squats and cycling.
All right. Without further ado, the one and only Liz Guevara Backman. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, as y'all can see, with our title, Getting Lean, and the information we provided today, that there's a certain theme that's going on, right, when it comes to the soul cycling. So talk to me about your weekly workout regimen.
No, this girl doesn't work out at all. Sorry. You got the wrong agent.
What? I saw a video with you doing some push-ups.
That was accountability, and I had to do it because my coach made me. I didn't do my calls, or I don't remember what it was.
Oh, so that you were in trouble. You were in trouble.
But I
Ouch.
don't work out and I don't eat healthy.
See, what if we
so
started doing mandatory PC program? If you don't do your calls, you got to do push-ups.
Hey, let's
That
talk to
might-
Nikki
well,
about
you know
that.
what's
That
funny
might
is
get you into production.
that was my accountability because I don't do it. So that's why he made me do it, is because I don't work out. And so the accountability was perfect for me because I don't work out. So he made me do it.
That's pretty cool, I can admit.
Just so y'all know, she is not the ambassador for our cycle bar thing.
No. It's funny because when you said, it's going to be a cycling, I was like, oh, no, that's not me.
Not me.
Because I don't work out. I don't like it. No, not this girl.
Now Norman's offended.
What'd you say?
A lot of people don't work out. They just should.
They just should.
I just say I don't. It's the truth. So
That's awesome. All right, well, let's roll. Tell us about yourself a little bit. Introduce yourself, just in case.
there's so many new faces in here.
There are, right?
So I have had my license 15 years, and I got my broker's license in 2013. And I have been at this office Well, I started my career here, and I've been with Keller Williams 14 out of the 15 years of my career. So there's like 3 faces that I recognize in here that are probably here longer than me, but other than that, y'all are all new faces to me.
It's awesome. Okay, all right. So tell me about what are your first thoughts when you hear the word shift?
So for me, the word shift, I think scares a lot of people, right? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? The world is ending, the sky is falling. But for me, I like the word. It for a couple of different reasons. Number one, for our clients, there's going to be more opportunities now. You know, I know that we have, especially you've been working with buyers, you've been struggling to put them in homes, and you've been working your butts off to find them something, only to be discouraged every single time. And I tell you, it is like one of my least favorite parts of the business is to have to call a buyer and say you didn't get it again, right? So there's opportunity now for clients. I work with a lot of investors, and my investor clients are chomping at the bit right now because there's finally going to be more opportunities. For me as an agent, I love this market because now it's a skill-based. It's a skill-based market. So for agents that, and there's quite a few of them that just kind of happen to stumble upon business, and you put a sign in the yard and you do a crappy job and the house still sells, those days are gone. So now it is a skill-based market, and I am very sharp with my skills, as a lot of us are. But those agents that are not aren't going to survive. And that means opportunity for us that are strong and have sharpened our skills. This is the market where you take market share, because I call it a cleansing market. In 15 years, I've seen a cleansing market before. And this is a cleansing market. So the strong will survive and the weak will go away. And those that are strong will get more market share.
Okay, so you talked about getting more market share, and this is kind of out of the shift book. So explain a little bit why taking market share now is important. What happens when you come out on the other side of this?
Well, first of all, if you take, two things. Number one, if you sharpen your skills and you grow your business in a market that we are in now or entering, you're going to form habits that is going to grow your business exponentially when the cycle shifts back the other way, right? Real estate is cyclical wave, right? And so your skills are gonna be so sharp when the cycle comes back up that you're really gonna do well. And number two, when you ask me a question again.
I love it.
This is what happens.
It just happened to me yesterday in the class, right?
No,
I'm like,
this is
and
what
then, like,
happens when you start to get older. Yeah. Like, I swear I had that second thought right there. And then like in a split second, it was like, poof, gone. It started happening when I had kids.
Yeah, the bad part is that now I've got to rethink the question.
I'm sorry,
right?
see?
So it was about the
Shifting and what
taking
was it?
market share
Taking
and
market share.
coming out on the other side.
Okay, taking market share. And here's the thing, the second thing, when taking market share, at the end, when the cycle goes back up, your market brand, your brand is going to be much more well-known because you survived, number one, and you grew. So at the end of when the cycle starts to come back up, people are going to say, oh, dang, I've seen her name quite a bit. And she's a good agent. So that market share that you took in the down market, and I don't think we're in a down market,
Yeah, right.
but you know what I mean?
We're going there.
But in the shifting market, that's going to grow. That market share is going to grow when you come back up the wave, when you get to the top of the wave. Does that make sense?
Okay,
So thank you. 2 points.
2 points. We got 2 through. We got 2 out. Yes. All right. So 2 things I love about you. 1, you do your research, and 2, you're opinionated. Okay.
And I will give you my opinion.
Yep. And you just segued right to it. So what's your outlook moving forward on the market?
So I think it's a great market. Okay. I am looking forward to putting more buyers in houses, and I'm looking forward to being able to educate sellers more than before. here's a conversation that we're all gonna have to have. I focus more on buyers, right? I mean, I'm sorry, sellers. So the conversation that's gonna have to happen a lot now is, yes, that was 4 months ago. Yes, that was 3 months ago. That's not where we are now, right? And so I don't think that we are going to crash, not even close. I've been through the crash, and this is not even close to a crash. So, but I do think that it's going to take more skills to do our job. And the things that we used to do that agents took for granted, which was not lead generating, you're not gonna be able to do that anymore. You have to lead generate. Even before I came here, I make my calls, and I made some calls this morning. I still have more calls to make because I came here to attend the meeting, but I make calls every day. Actually, a funny story, I think it was last week, I was making my calls. You know, we always loop around to old leads, and one of them was 2 years old. They had registered. It was an online lead that I had gotten. I called him, and he said, you know, I just bought a house through my wife. And I was like, oh, congratulations. You know, is your wife's an agent? And he said, yes. And I said, oh, where's she? You know, a lot of people lie when you call, right?
Yeah.
So I said, oh, where's she? What brokerage is she with? And he said, Keller Williams. And I said, oh, I'm with Keller Williams. What market center? Or what office? And he said, the one in Sugarland. I said, hey, that's my office. And he said, yeah, I just got my license too. And I was like, oh, and I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. So if you're here, hi, or watching on and I said, oh, awesome. And I said, well, I'm Liz. Hopefully I'll see you in the office soon. He said, Backman? And I said, yeah. He goes, oh, I know your office. It's in the corner. And I said, yeah, that's me. It's in the corner. And I said, just so you know, this is what you do every morning. You make calls. So he was an old lead that I had, and I was making my calls, and it looped around to him. Now, he's an agent. His wife's an agent. They just bought a house. And yet it was a perfect example of, you got to make your calls. Some mornings it's like dragging. Some mornings it's painful, but you stand up and you say, this is how I'm going to survive at all times, is by making calls.
It's awesome. It's powerful too. I hope they're watching. All right.
And I don't remember his name.
She tells you everything straight up.
I
right?
do.
All right. All right. So you went through the last shift.
Yeah.
What lessons did you learn?
That I actually got my license in 2007. So 2008 is when we crashed, right? That was a crash. I mean, I had investors buying up houses for $50,000, $60,000. Can you imagine that? 50, 60 grand. Now that was a crash. What I learned was you have to go back to the basics. You guys know Vince Lombardi, this is a football every single day. This is a football. This is a phone. I need to pick up this phone every single day. You have to go back to basics, and you have to find something that works for you. Okay. I personally don't like doing open houses. I don't like door knocking. So I found something that works for me. I have no problem picking up the phone and calling a random number. That doesn't bother me. People will cuss me out.
Yes,
People will hang up on me. I had one lady today, I had to leave. I was on a call and I had to leave my office because the lady was still talking. She talked for 45 minutes, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be sitting in the car anyway, going to the office. So I just let her talk. You have to find whatever works for you. So if you don't like door knocking, or let's say you don't like making phone calls, okay, do open houses or door knock. You have to go back to the basics. You have to understand that your job now is, well, it always is, but it's more important now, lead generating. And the second thing I will say is you got to look at your expenses big time. Big time. And the easiest way to do that is get 3 months of your bank statements and look at every single penny that you spent. And you need to say, where can I cut an expense? You know how they have those apps that talk about like, get rid of all those subscriptions? You need to be your own app for your real estate business, because in a thriving market, the income that you had coming in because the market was strong was covering up the mistakes that you were making in your expenses. And now you're not going to be able to do that. So you have to look at your expenses. And if there's something that's even $5, $10, $15, cut it. Because once you stop lowering your income, once your income goes down, your expenses better go down. Right at the exact same time. Don't say to yourself, I'm just gonna make more money to cover it up. Or I have to spend money to make money. Cut it. I'll give you an example. The simplest, such a little thing. I have my signs installed, right, for listings because it's hot and I'm short. I don't want to carry a 6-foot pole, right? So I had a company that I was using that had been charging, that was charging $66 per installation. Well, then they went up to, they got a fancy schmancy new website and, you know, all this very cool bells and whistles. And then they went up to 75, not including riders. So for each sign that I was installing at that point with a rider, I was paying $85. Guess what this girl did? I went and found another company that now installs my signs for $60. So I'm saving 25 bucks per sign installation. You might say that's only $25, but those little things add up. And you need to audit your expenses. Where do you spend your money and what can go? Critical.
Okay. So when are you starting to cut?
So I did it once when COVID started, right? I did that exact thing. And then I typically do it once a year. And I'm actually getting ready to do it again to look at my bank statements are sitting on my desk to audit them.
Okay, so now, not
Now.
month from now.
No,
2
no, no,
months
no,
from
no, now.
When the
now.
crash happens, that's not happening, or when the shift happens with
No, honestly, I probably should have done it 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I snickered earlier because it's like we rehearsed this. You're like going straight through this, and
I'm sorry.
I'm just eye candy. Right? All right. You're amazing though. All right. All right. So let's switch focus. So I know you kind of alluded to the cost cutting.
Mhm.
Are you tracking your expenses?
Yes, I do. I like spreadsheets. I'm not a fancy schmancy type of software girl. Okay, I do have QuickBooks, but I'm still learning how to use it. But I like old fashioned spreadsheets. And so on a spreadsheet, I just go on there and I write Supra, $13.15 per month. Keller Williams office, whatever it is. My office.
Not
it's
that
usually,
much.
Yeah. Well, I have an office, so it's more, but and I literally just do a spreadsheet of all of my expenses. And I'll look at that spreadsheet on a monthly basis because my question is there anything on here that I can cut out or that I can shave? It doesn't necessarily have to go, but if you can save, heck, if you can save a couple $100 a month, that's I wouldn't snicker at that, right? Because it all adds up. So there's certain things that I will not cut. Education, I won't do that because I look at it as an investment into myself. So like mega camp, if some of you are thinking, oh, well, I don't have $150, you can't think of it like that. And I am one that will cut expenses, but education is an investment. As long as you're getting a return on that investment, then keep investing in yourself, right? So education, I have a mastery coach, I have a MAPS coach, mastery, things like that I won't skimp on, but anything that I feel like I can cut down 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks, I'm going to do it because it all adds up and it all goes to your bottom line. And I tell you what, it is stressful as heck when you are looking at your bills that you have to pay every month and you know that you need one closing or else you're going to be in the red, or you need to do, can I just get one lease so I can pay my office bill or something like that? Don't find yourself in that situation because it's not fun.
Okay, so what do you do if you are in that situation?
Well, if you are in that, I will say, how they say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago and when's the second best? Is that how it goes? Like today, something like that, right? Or something like that. Anyway, today. So if you haven't done it yet, you need to get your bank statements. Let me start by saying this. if you don't have separate bank accounts for your personal, I call it my play money, and your business expenses, get one. That's the very first thing. Separate the two if you haven't done that. Okay, your accountant, CPA will love you. But I think of it as it just makes it easier to track stuff, right? So take your bank statements, audit what you're spending your money on. I guarantee you there's stuff in there that you can cut out. You know, do I really have to, that nice little bell, you know, the bells and whistles that they try and sell us all the time? Because we get calls all the time, right? People trying to sell us stuff.
Health insurance.
Oh my God, if I get
That's
one
getting
more
over.
person,
Yeah.
one more person. But so all that stuff, audit it and get rid of stuff. And if you, once you do that, find the thing that you can and are willing to do to take market share right now. So if you don't mind picking up the phone like me, find a list. I think our office, we have lists. I don't know, do we still have the coal resource and stuff like that?
Yeah. So we've evolved from that a little bit. They emailed.
See, I'm old.
They-
I
we
remember
emailed
the
them.
old school stuff that we
Yeah.
used to
Well,
have.
we still have the dialer, and then now we email the list.
But see, there's things that you can, people that you can call, right? And you don't have to buy leads, by the way.
Talk about that a little bit. Why
Don't-
not?
Well, because they're not, do you know the return on online leads, I believe is like 3%. Now, I will tell you, if you have the time and someone's giving you leads, call whatever, but I would not, don't buy Zillow leads, don't buy stuff like that. First of all, they're your competitor, so you don't want to be buying leads from them. But, you know, yeah, mail letters. Do you guys know how, I mail letters. That's how.
Like with a stamp?
And handwritten letters in there. And you know what's
That's what
funny
I-
is that people will call me because they get my letter. A lot of times they'll call me because they'll say, I don't want to sell my house. That's okay. Guess who just had a conversation with them? Me. So when they get my collateral later on, and at one point when they are ready, then they will remember my logo. I'm a visual person, so I remember logos. I assume that everybody is the same way. Like yesterday, my husband was like, we need to go get these. My son wanted some chips. And he's like, Miss Vicky's chips, Miss Vicky's chips. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Well, then he brought the bag and I was like, oh, I know that logo. I know the logos.
Jalapeno flavor.
Yeah, jalapeno.
They're the best.
That's what he wanted.
They're the best.
That's so funny. Huh? Those are good too.
Sea
Those are
salt.
good too. You're right. Salt and vinegar is pretty good too. But
All right. So you talked a lot about cutting and looking into your variable expenses. Have you thought about adjusting fixed expenses? I know this one is going to be tough.
there are some like, yes, those are tougher
Yes.
because I know where my strengths are and I know where my weaknesses are. And so I have to be able to, you have to understand where your strengths and your weaknesses are. And if one of your weaknesses is a fixed cost, you got to keep it. Like for me, for example, well, we can talk about my office.
Okay.
I have an office at the end of I also have a building that I bought, a little old, one of the old houses in Old Richmond that I redid. And I've been in that office for the last 4 months. So I had two offices, two expenses. So just this week, yesterday, actually, I let the office know that I'm letting go of that office. That is a fixed expense that I used to have and I no longer need. Is it nice to have if I want to come up here and, do stuff? Sure. There's also cubicles that if I wanted to come up here, I just cut my expenses by $400 per month by getting rid of that office. Now, there is another expense that like a fixed expense. My assistant, unfortunately, is moving to New York if I don't blow up New York, so she doesn't go. But
Have you started planning that?
yes,
Okay.
and that's actually the conversation of
We're recorded, by the way. Oops. But yeah.
yeah, and that's actually a conversation of like that. What am I going to do? Right? Am I going to hire another assistant full time? Am I going to hire a virtual assistant? Am I going to hire? I know that my weakness is that stuff that my assistant does for me. And I have to figure out my dollar per hour. What is my dollar per hour? And you guys should do the same. What is my dollar per hour? What am I worth dollar per hour? And then if you can leverage out, even though it's an expense, if you can leverage out something that someone else can do for you, that gives you that much more time to lead generate. So I'll give you an example. It takes me 15, 20 minutes, maybe more to upload all of my documents and do my compliance and do all that stuff, right? I know that my time, my highest and best use is not doing my compliance, is not uploading it. So my assistant, that's why I have my assistant. So in those 15 and 20 minutes, I can make 3-4 phone calls that could theoretically result in an appointment, right? And a closing eventually. So there are some fixed expenses that I do reconsider, and I have, like, for instance, that office space, but there's others that I won't. Like I said, coaching, education, leveraging what I am not good at doing, stuff like that, because that's just going to slow me down. And honestly, that's just an excuse. I don't want to make a phone call because I need to go do my compliance. That's an excuse not to pick up the phone. And I learned that about myself.
Yeah. So to just dive a little deeper on the example you gave, even in Shift, they talk about the leverage and, employing leverage, and to get lean there. And that's a tough decision.
It is.
Right? It's a tough decision on, so.
It is a tough decision.
Have you thought about doing it yourself? And
I have, but I'm not going to do it myself.
Yeah.
I will at the very least have a transaction coordinator, or I'm probably looking into cyberbacker, like doing a virtual assistant at the very minimum, part-time. Cause I, back in the day, that was $25 to KW Cares. Do we
It
still do
was,
that?
it
Do we
was.
still do that? $25 to KW Cares. So anyway, there's nothing wrong with an expense if it's going to be lean. So like having a virtual assistant for me, or an assistant, is going to help me grow my business because it's going to give me time to lead generate more. Right? Does that make sense?
And technically getting a virtual assistant, you're actually cutting expense.
That's true, because right now my assistant is full-time. She's full-time and she sits next to me, which I appreciate that, because there's so many times I hand her stuff and I'm like, here you go, there you go. But if I need to adjust to scanning and sending it to a virtual assistant, and it saves me half of the cost, and it's not affecting my business, I've already made an audit, an expense savings there. Right.
Cool. All right. So what does it look like for your business to be profitable moving forward?
For me, my personal business.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Doing what I'm doing, like every day, I make phone calls in the mornings, 9 to 11:30, I'm making phone calls. Auditing my expenses, which like I said, the bank statements are sitting on my desk as we speak. And always being conscious, always being conscious of a potential expense that could creep up on me later, right? My coaches, because I've had 2 in my master, I've had a MAPS coach for 6 years. And so my MAPS coach, both of them have always said, keep a reserve. If you guys can build a reserve, so that if there is a month where, things didn't work out, because I will tell you, I see a lot more back on the markets right now. A lot.
Yeah.
Back on the market. That means that agents are being affected, right? 2 agents in those transactions are being affected. Try and build a reserve. So for me, strengthening my reserve.
Hang on. And then, so do you have an opinion, or have you been told what's a safe reserve amount?
6 months.
Okay. 6 months.
6 months cash sitting in your bank. That would cover your business expenses. So if you don't have an office, what are your business expenses for the month, right? The KW bill, your super key, gas, What is, huh? Yeah, MLS, right? And that's a quarterly, but
Mhm.
plug that into your per month, right? What is it per month?
Divided by 3.
Your dues, your HAR dues, your annual dues, that's another thing. Your car insurance, your cell phone, whatever your
CE
business
class.
expenses are, figure out what that amount is per month. And then try and build a 6-month reserve of that. That way, you know, at the very least, your business expenses are covered for 6 months if you have to dip into them. So I'm not perfect, by the way. I don't have 6 months right now. Don't think that I have it all figured out. I make a lot of mistakes. So that's one of the things that I'm working on now too, is building my reserve. And this year has been an interesting year for me because, you know, I have other businesses that I run. I renovate houses, I manage properties. And so for me, my focus has been taken away a little bit from the real estate side of it, the regular real estate side, like, you know, the real estate business. And so that was another thing that I've had to do is figure out, okay, Liz, you got all this stuff going on. You need to be able to juggle all the balls and still make money, still be profitable in business. So I will say that the renovating part is my favorite.
It's always fun.
I was so happy at Red Day when they put me on the saw.
Oh, we should have had a
Yeah,
picture of
that was
that.
my
That was pretty natural. Yeah. All right. So you just mentioned about you make mistakes.
All the time.
Okay. How do you recover from that, adjust from that, move forward from that?
It pisses me off when I make mistakes. A lot. Actually, Zoe can vouch for that it pisses me off when I make mistakes. But you learn, you got to look at it this way. I screwed up. What did I learn from it?
Mhm.
And I'm not going to do it again. And then you just let it go at that point. Because if I learned that I have to let it go, because if I don't let it go, it's going to eat me up. And guess what's going to happen? I'm going to make another mistake. Because what you focus on expands. The law of attraction, what is in your brain is what's going to happen. So if I focus on, I'm going to make another mistake, guess what? I'm going to make another mistake. And that's natural that you're going to make mistakes. $25.
That's Norman.
Norman.
Hey, I turned my phone off, but they called me through.
Oh, that's
another
funny.
Service.
That's
Isn't that funny?
So don't look at, I actually have a little sign in my office that says mistakes are lessons learned. So if we didn't make mistakes, we wouldn't grow. So you will grow through your mistakes if you take the lesson learned and you apply it to the future. Another tip, if someone else has made the mistake, don't do it. Learn from people like us that have been doing this for a long time. And we've made I probably made every mistake that you could make. Well, no, because I'm going to make more, but learn from people's mistakes. Don't think that you're going to figure it out. Just learn from them. But if you do make a mistake, it's all right. Keep it moving.
Fail forward.
Yeah, fail forward.
Okay. So if agents are taking notes about what we've talked about and what we should be doing moving forward, especially from a financial perspective, summarize it up. What should they be focusing on right now?
The biggest, find a lead, understand that your job is to generate leads. It is not to sell real estate. Selling real estate is a byproduct of generating leads. That is your job. And find the lead generating method that works for you. Like I said, I don't like doing open houses. I don't like door knocking, but I will happily pick up the phone. And you know what? I like cold leads, online leads, like people who just cold random stuff. Those are the ones that I'm good at. I'm going to start doing expireds again because they're coming back. So I'm going to start getting, and you will, Chad's going to be like, Liz, Chad always gets on me because I say not appropriate words. But he's not here. So
No, he's not.
know that you will suck at first. I started doing videos and it was, which I don't like videos, but you know, that's such an easy way to market yourself. And I sucked and I still kind of suck sometimes, but you know, we had to do like 5 or 6 takes for one, and now I'm down to like 2. So I'm doing good.
Two takes.
Yeah.
That's progress.
So you will you will suck at first. Don't get discouraged, because the more that you do it, the better you will get. And remember that the athletes that, if you watch sports, the athletes that we watch spend millions of dollars a year practicing. And that's how they get where they are. And they sucked at some point in their lives. So don't expect yourself to be the expert, do everything correctly right away. That's unrealistic. But you know, that picture of the iceberg where it says like, you know, you see the 20%, but people don't pay attention. Then the bottom half of the iceberg is underneath and people don't pay attention to what it took to get there. It takes 80% of your energy to get to that tip, that top of the iceberg that you can see. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? That
absolutely.
picture, the iceberg
Absolutely.
picture.
Absolutely.
That's one of my favorite pictures.
Yeah. There's no such thing as an overnight success.
No, God, no.
Yeah.
It's an iceberg.
I'm pulling it right now, but yeah.
There's another one where it's like a ballerina's feet. Have y'all seen that one? That one's I really love
That
that
one I'm
one
not
too.
sure
It's a
about.
ballerina's feet. And one of them is like, she's in her ballerina
Oh, I've seen it.
shoes.
Yes.
And it's like, and then their other one is her foot without the shoe. And it's like bandaged and bruised and, you know, like all jacked up.
Yeah.
And it says, people don't understand what the sacrifice that it takes to get to the success, right? So you will struggle, you will make mistakes, you will suck, but keep doing it because you will get there. Is that
awesome.
blunt enough?
That was pretty blunt.
And audit your expenses. Don't spend money that, if you go to mega camp, I always say go to mega camp and go to family reunion. Don't buy anything while you're there.
What?
No. Look, you buy stuff while you're
Yeah, I
there,
get in
don't
trouble
you?
all the time. My
See?
wife yelled at me for how many black t-shirts you can have.
Well, I'll buy shirts, but don't buy any of the bells and whistles there.
Oh, the
because
vendors. You're talking about,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah, they get you.
They will get you. I've made that mistake. Don't do that. Yeah. Audit your expenses, keep it lean. Even if it's $5, those $5 add up.
All right, that was a powerful ending right there, but just any final thoughts? Any last advice?
I can't believe how many new faces are here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Look,
Martin.
Martis is like, yeah. No, no. I mean, if you guys have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer any, but yes, you have questions?
Okay, hang on, we got mics.
Oh,
They're coming.
oh
That's
yeah,
what the
the
online can hear,
Zoom,
so
that's
I'll-
right, I forgot.
What's your gut?
So as a new agent and a dual career person,
Uh-huh.
and the shift in the market, taking into account everything you said, what do we do now as a new agent?
First, so I will tell you, I started my career as dual agent. Okay, so I was dual agent. We called it part-time agent back then, but dual agent for 3 years before I went full-time. And I did it in the crash,
Yeah.
right? So I will tell you, I will tell you that this is where you will, if you are a new agent and you are just starting now, this is, and you focus on your lead gen, like your dual career, this is where you will thrive. Okay, don't be afraid of this market. This is a great market because the people who are not willing to put in the work are going to disappear. The agents who are not willing to put in the work will disappear. Like I said, a cleansing market. And those of you, and I hope it's every single one of you in this room, those of you that are willing to put in the time, like your dual career, right? So if you spend, let's say, do you work full-time? So let's say on Tuesday, Thursdays, I don't know what your schedule looks like, but do what now? Wednesday, Sunday. Okay, so let's say you spend Monday and Tuesday, 3 hours a day calling people. That doesn't cost you any money. It's free. And it doesn't have to be a random people. It can be your sphere. And I will tell you, sphere of influence are some of the hardest phone calls for me to make.
I agree.
hard. But you know what what I do a lot of times is I'll look on Facebook or social media or whatever, and I'll find something that someone talked about, and I'll call them, or I'll send them a voice text and say, hey, I saw that your son got accepted to U of H. That's so cool. You know, now you don't have to say anything necessarily about real estate, but if you're voice texting, you know, like you're top of mind, and you're going to start to build, oh yeah, you want them to know you as a realtor versus what do you do? Okay, wherever you sell, whatever the other thing is that you sell, you want them to think of you as selling as real estate versus the other thing that you're selling. And so that's what I would say right now is that you have to, the cheapest way that you can make money, I'm gonna say least expensive. Least expensive way that you can make money is just picking up the phone and calling your sphere of influence and letting them know, if you're a new agent, hey, you know, I don't know, hey, Joe, you know, I haven't talked to you in a bit, but I just want to let you know that I got my real estate license, and and I would love to have the opportunity to work with you if you decide to buy or sell or invest in the future. I always like to say, I would love to apply for the job, because you are applying for a job when you work with someone, when you work with a client. And when you tell them that you're applying for a job with them, they feel like, oh, like she wants to work for me. You know, she's
the
I
boss.
get to interview her,
Yeah.
right? And another thing that I would say is, for you, that because you work on Saturday and Sunday, it's harder to have open house opportunities. Reach out to agents that are in the office that may have an overflow of leads. Post it on our Facebook group. Anybody have any leads they don't want to do, they don't want to handle? I have them all the time. You know, like they're lease leads that that's not the highest and best use of my time. I'm not gonna go show a lease. But there are agents that would love to have lease leads. And I understand that. And I appreciate that, because then we both get the deal done, right? Find ways to, because you're dual career, you don't want to have high expenses right now if you don't have the closings lined up. And those are inexpensive ways to start building your pipeline.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Liz Guevara back. Thank you, Don. Appreciate it. All right. Hope you really take that to heart. That was some pretty powerful stuff, and you should be taking all of that advice immediately. Appreciate you guys. All right, let's get our partners up here.
Okay.
Dale, you're lost, dude. No, Melissa was racist.
Hi. So, well, like she was saying, to audit your current expenses, you should audit your current title company, don't you think? I mean, you never know what you are missing until you go looking elsewhere, right? So I think that's a good idea to contact me. My card is in that little break room. It's in the cute little truck. My card's in the bed of the truck, or in the back of the truck, the blue truck. One other thing is, we just got a new, I don't know what you call that system, farming system or whatever, to get leads or kind of map out an area or look at your demographics and kind of go through, like, I want homes that were purchased between this point to this point, or this many bedrooms, or someone with a mortgage that's paid off, or whatever. We now have Title Pro 247 that I can sign you up. I can give you a link or a token, it's called, to give you access to be able to, it's like 6 cents a lead or something like that. So if you have a listing in a certain area that you would like to maybe find, find the people around it, send them a post or call, whatever you guys do your thing. I can do my thing to help you do your thing. I have no fun fact. Can you believe that?
Woo!
Shut up. No, I don't. But you know what? It'll be that much better next week. So there you go. That's me.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. So, the market, what's going on in the market, we've kind of seen rates go up and down. There's a lot of misinformation coming out of the Federal Reserve about what's going on in our economy right now. We've got a Federal Reserve chair that says things are going good. We've got another guy that spoke yesterday that caused the market to take a big dip because of uncertainty. They're not sure that they're going to continue to raise rates, but it looks like we're going to go raise rates. It looks like we might be going into a recession, but they don't want to say that we're in a recession. So there's just a lot of uncertainty. Melissa's company, as an example of a company that's cutting back, had a front-end receptionist that they've temporarily let go. The reason I say that is that this is real. You are going to see everywhere that you go in your community or across the country, people are cutting expenses. Mortgage lenders, Chase, we talked about, cut a bunch of mortgage lenders. Some of your competitors completely wiped out. If you want to know, Redfin completely wiped out market areas of agents that they let go because this is something that's real. One of the things that I wanted Liz to talk on, but she didn't, would be if you were spending money on marketing. That is probably the worst thing you can cut in a market. You can look at where you're maybe overinflated in some of the things that you do, but you've got to continue doing what you've been doing to put yourself out there and stay in front of people. For you brand new agents that are out there with the opportunities that houses coming back on the market because things are expiring or they're not going, be an expert at open houses. The opportunities are there. The seller wants to sell the houses. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to say marketing is a really good, it is a good place to invest some dollars, but also understand that there are free ways to market yourself. Videos on social media. We all have a camera phone, right? There are free ways and inexpensive ways to market. So like the fluff marketing, I'm actually getting ready to get rid of some fluff marketing. I had a company that was posting stuff for me. I'm probably going to cut that because I'm going to have my virtual or my new assistant do it for me. Right. And those companies charge $200 to $300 a month. So there are inexpensive ways to market, but Dale is right. Make sure that you're marketing, but be cost effective on it. I'm sorry, I'm cutting into your time. Track your return. If you spend $1, you need to be getting 3 or 4 back. Track it.
Absolutely. Good point. So another way in this market to look is to look for things that are being done or that we haven't been doing. Who here needs a loan program for a buyer that has no money to put down? Anybody? Only 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's it. We've got 100% financing, guys, with a rate that's about a full percentage point below the market. There's no mortgage insurance. You need a 640 credit score, and you can go up to a loan amount of $647,000 with no income limits. Did that sound difficult? I think there's a lot of people that could probably fall into that category. There are specific areas. You've got to talk to one of us as loan officers. We are specific to have this program through one of our banking relationships. So I've had no phone calls from anybody in here. Yes, ma'am.
Just wanted to say, you guys, we can co-brand those flyers for you for your listings that might be in that area. I just spoke to the agent earlier and I'm doing it. She didn't even realize that the property was qualifying census tract. So.
Yep. You're right. We're here to help you guys. Please enjoy your lunch today. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Dale.
Yes, ma'am. I'll talk to you on the side.
Let's talk. Awesome. All right. Uh-oh, this got changed. Okay, you got it?
Also,
Okay, switch.
we had about 120, Snap Title has about 120 employees from Austin to Dallas and here. So it wasn't just Giselle. We had to let about 10 go throughout Dallas, Austin. So it wasn't just Giselle. We weren't picking on her, and hopefully she'll be back soon because we know everyone loved her.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for the update. Yep, absolutely. All right, Spencer, come on up, bud.
Hello, hello.
All right. Tell us what you
Appreciate
got.
it. Yes. My name is Spencer Phillips. I'm with Connect Services, and you guys may have seen me present as 360 Home Connect. We were actually just acquired by a company called Transactly that does transaction management software. They actually have a free version as well. So if you're managing your own transactions, you can still use it and save some money. But it is. And I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with our concept. We set up all the utilities and essential home services for clients moving into new homes. We have multiple options in every category, of course, except for gas and water. Those are set, but we have multiple options in every category for electricity. So we know where the best rates are. We work with all the internet companies, so your clients have options there. We work with a handful of home security companies, and there's 1.5 million of those out there, as I'm sure y'all are aware. So we've got about 4 or 5 on board to make sure your clients have options. And we have extra services as well that we can set up for them, such as movers, pest control, if they need their locks rekeyed, water filtration, solar, and of course, none of your clients need all of that stuff. They'll have a conversation with their consultant that'll be assigned to them, and we'll get going with their request. And the whole process takes anywhere from about 10 to 15 minutes with us, instead of them spending a bunch of time doing that stuff when they could be concentrating on getting things done for the close, gathering the documents they need, that kind of stuff. And our service is also free. So it's no hit to your bottom line. We're designed to make sure that your clients know that you receive our service exclusively because they used to use their real estate agent. And that way, when they're talking to their friends and family, they're talking about it in such a way, when we make the move easier, they're talking about it in such a way of something that you did for them, not something that we did. So that's it's another form of free marketing right there for you. We also follow up with your clients if they say they sign up for a 12-month electric term. We'll follow up with them at about 11 to 11 and a half months and just say, hey, Mr. Client, just wanted to give you a heads up. Your electric rate's about to go into a variable rate plan, which after last year and the freeze and everything, everyone knows variable rate plans aren't what you want. But at that point, of course, we're not calling them multiple times over the year. But so when we do speak to them, we say, hey, Mr. Client, this is Spencer with Connect Services, your real estate agent, Mr. or Mrs. whoever, we work with them. And remember, we set you up at your home. We just want to let you know that your rates are going to go up. Would you like to reshop? And sometimes it'll be no, sometimes it'll be yes, but everyone's always appreciative of giving them a heads up that their rates might be able to change. So we also drop your name then as well. So just going along with the theme of the class, it's more free marketing, more free tools that you have, that ideally is going to get your clients talking about you out to their friends and family about how good your service is, and bring those referrals in for you. To use our service, it's really easy. You can go to connectservices.com. And as I mentioned, we did recently rebrand. It says 360homeconnect.com there. You can go to that one as well. It'll just redirect you to our new website, connectservices.com, and get your client signed up a little early. That way we can, if there are any hiccups that arise, maybe the CenterPoint can't find the gas meter for whatever reason, we'll help them out with that stuff as well. Take some of that stuff off their plate. And if we get your client over a little bit early, that gives us time to make sure we connect with the client, work out any kinks, and make sure everything's very, very smooth for them. If you're looking for a point in your process, I always tell agents, once you're through the option period, it's a good point to get them over to us. And we'll get everything squared away. We're familiar with moving target close dates. So we'll follow up with the client a couple of days before things are scheduled to be activated. We'll make sure everything's on track. If it's not on track, we'll get all the services rescheduled for them as well. Any questions so far? I know there's a lot of information in a short amount of time. Are you going to be hanging around for a little bit? Yeah. Just in case somebody wants to come up to you. There's no geographical region we can't work in, and we do leases as well, not just clients that are buying. So I'll stick around till after the class. If anybody has any questions, just let me know.
Cool. Thanks, Spencer. Appreciate the lunch. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, I hope that was tremendous value to you. Appreciate y'all as always. Enjoy lunch if you're in here. If you're online, have a great day. Make it happen.